How we doing, guys? Hope you're good. So in this video I'm going to show you all of the new features, just a brief run through in Cabs 2.0. If you're already on Cabs, you don't need to do anything, just hard refresh your computer and then the update will be there. And if you're new to Cabs or you want to sign up to Cabs and you need some information, then there's a link in the description of this video. And also if you send me a DM either here, over on Instagram, or if you just drop a comment, then I'm more than happy to help you out as well. So let's get into it then. So we start the design as normal and then we go into the room builder, and we still need to drop a wall. Even though it's free move and we can put cabs wherever we want, we still need to put a wall in here. So you can either put your dimensions in, or if you're just having a play, just drop a wall. No need to add a zone. So you'll notice now that the zones have completely gone. They are actually baked into the back end, so this is actually automatically put a zone in there, but you can't actually see it, but the zone is there, and the zone will be on every single wall, so it doesn't matter where you want to put your carcasses. I'm not going to change the sizes here. I'm just going to fly straight through to the design. You will see the wall come up straight away. Then you're going to notice, as I say, if you're already on Cabs, this now looks a little bit different because we've now got a bundle of new tools in here, and then down the side looks slightly different as well. So if we take a look here at even distribution, now this is kind of one of the only features I've kept in with the self-generating stuff, and then below it we've got our carcasses. And while I'm talking about even distribution, I might as well show you how that works now. So if you still had a straight run of wardrobes, or low units, like whatever it may be, and you want those distributed evenly across the wall without having to change things yourself, then that's what this even distribution section is all about, and I will briefly show you that now. So the way that we bring carcasses in now, we just come over to our little library at the side, and this is obviously all of our back end stuff, and then we can just click the carcasses. So let's just say that I wanted these 3 carcasses and I wanted to evenly distribute them across the wall here. All we would do, in actual fact, let me take that last one out just so that we can see the wall. All that we would do to evenly distribute them is head up the top and find our distribute button. That's going to pop up and tell us to select a carcass and then tap the wall, any order, and then press distribute. So this carcass is already selected, so we're going to select the next one, we're going to tap the wall, and we're going to hit distribute. And what that's going to do, that's going to evenly space those carcasses as per your back end settings for fillers. So I think mine are set to something like 100mm top and bottom and 50mm left and right. It's going to pick up those back end settings and it's going to distribute them like that. So you can do that really quickly if you have got that straight run. And then you do have the ability, like last time, to select the carcasses up here, and you can change them from double to single, so that if you had a situation like this where you had like a 3-door, you can do that as well. And then a new feature that I've added in, which is really nice, and this works whether you do even distribution or whether you're just sort of moving the carcasses around freely, is if you go into the settings, you can change the carcass. So if I hit this change carcass, this will bring up your library here, and then you can change your internal layout as per whatever you want to. Inside of here you can change to that as well. Okay, all of your unit settings are found down the side, no matter how you drop your carcasses in. A couple of ways that you can access them. Let me just get rid of that box there for a second. So the 2 ways that you can access the settings, number 1, you can just highlight the box and that's going to open the settings down the left hand side, or the second way, you can just do manually and use the little drop down here. All of the settings are pretty much the same as they were before, so do have a little look through them. If you want to start affecting the kind of layouts, the dividers, the shelves, the drawers, all the rest of it, then they're down the bottom here, and you can do that as well. This video isn't about that, because obviously you could do that sort of stuff before. This video is more about the new tools and features within Cabs 2.0. So let's now take a look if we weren't evenly distributing carcasses then. So let's just drop a carcass in here, and then let's start showing you the features. So you can grab a carcass now with your mouse, and you can move it around wherever you want. I'll do Control and Z for undo on that to put it back where it was, and there's also undo and redo buttons up the top. You can resize over here inside of the settings, or we now have something called the flex tool. The flex tool is a way of resizing panels, carcasses, and it's basically a really quick way of doing this. So if we come up here and grab the flex tool, you're going to see it will go to a gizmo. Let's just deselect that at the moment and just talk about the gizmo. Gizmos are a way of moving or resizing things, but with locked axes. So if I want to move this carcass to the right, I can grab this gizmo and I can move it to the right. Before we actually talk about the flex tool, we'll talk a little bit more about the movement of this, then I'll go back into the flex tool. So we can move it to the right, blue will move it back and forth, and green will move it up and down, and then this purple circle is what we use to rotate, and that locks at 90 degrees in 90-degree increments all the way around, but you can also put it wherever you want to. You'll notice this little measure tab coming up at the top here as well. If you start moving in a direction, you can just type 500, enter, and it's going to move it 500 from the point that you started moving it from. In the direction you started moving it, it will move it 500 in that direction. Move it back, type a meter, it's going to move it a meter. So that's how the free move stuff works. Then let's look at the flex tool. So we go to flex up here. This works in exactly the same way, but obviously resizing. So what I mean by that is, if we grab the green, we can pull it down. If we grab the bottom green, we can pull it up. We can shrink it from the left, shrink it or make it grow from the right, and the same with the depth on the blue. And again, you can see the little dimension box up here as well, so you can start dragging that over, type 2 meters, and it will extend it from the drag point. Okay, so that is how we use the flex tool, and that's the same for free panels as well, which I will get to shortly. I'm just going to reset by putting a new carcass in. So I'm still in flex. You can see it's got that kind of 6-way gizmo on there, and you can just bring this down. Say I wanted 100mm filler at the top, so I'd just drop that off from 100, push it up from 100 there, and then for your filler from the right, I'd go back into the free move like sort of way, and I'd just pull this over and type 50mm. There we go. Let's take a look at shortcuts quickly then, because you'll probably notice that I'm selecting things quite quickly, and the reason why I'm doing that, or the way that I'm doing that, should I say, is by using shortcuts. So if I press F, then my flex tool comes up. If I press T, then my tape tool comes up. Shortcuts are super simple. All you need to do is come up into this top fix bar here, hit shortcuts, find the tool that you want to assign a shortcut to. So let's say I want to assign clear the snap lines. So you hit this here, set, you can put the letter M in there, done. All you need to do is come up the top, click done. Now, if I were to put some snap lines in, which we're going to talk about in a moment, if I hit M, it will clear the snap lines. Okay, so while we're talking about snap lines, we might as well go to those next. I was going to go in order here, but I seem to keep talking and then sort of sparking the need to then talk about the tool that I've just highlighted. So come to snap lines. Snap lines are a way of putting some guides out and kind of marking off the back wall where you want things. So if you're not using that self-distribution mode and you want to mark out your fillers, you just come to your snap lines, click the wall. I've now let go of the mouse, drag this out, type 200, yeah, and you can put these wherever you want. I have got them working with carcasses as well, but they're a little bit quirky with the carcasses, and I don't mind saying that. You know, the product is still in a beta, you know, and it's also a journey. I want to build this with you guys. So they are a little bit quirky on the carcasses. They do need a little bit of work. I am aware of that. However, for the back wall and marking out and setting out, they work really well. So they are snap lines. Therefore, once they're laid, you notice then I've moved the carcass. The carcass will then snap to the snap lines. So that was my filler. I've just moved that over and that snaps in nicely. I can then press F for flex, which is the shortcut that I have set up. I can then pull this down and pull this up, and you'll notice the carcass is snapped into the filler margins straight away. So really nice there. And then with those, we have hide snaps, Okay, so we can hide them completely but not delete them. So if we want to just hide them from the image while we're working, but then we might want to bring them back, we can just press it again and we can unhide them. We have erase snaps where you can go around and erase them individually, or we have clear snaps, which I just set to M in the shortcuts, and the clear snaps will just clear the lot. But once you've cleared them, they're done, they're gone. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I actually like just hiding mine all the while I work on the project until I'm totally certain that everything is set out where I want it, then I'll delete them. Okay, cool. So let's look at, now we'll go sort of back in order here then. So I'll come to the dims when we've put a few more carcasses down. Let's look at join by corner. So you'll have known this feature. If you had cabs before, you'll know that this is how we do stuff in the back end. Let me just duplicate this across here and move it over. This is how we join parts with join by corner. So I've actually got J set up for join by corner. If not, you can just come up to the toolbar and grab it. And you'll notice that what it does is it brings a load of dots up. All you need to do, if you wanted to join these two carcasses together, you just highlight this dot here, and then the corner that you want to join it to, you highlight that one, and that's just going to bring the carcasses together nicely for you. So you haven't got to try and drag them around and get them in the right place, or you haven't got to, you know, use the gizmos like this. Although the gizmos do work really well, and they do snap really nicely. Sometimes if you've got like a rotated unit or something and you just need that real fast accuracy, then join by corner is what you want to use. We've then got extend by corner, and all that does is it basically means that you can extend a carcass by touching two corners together. I'll be brutally honest with you, this does need a little bit of work, so I am actively working on the extend by corner. At the moment it's a little bit quirky. It doesn't quite behave as it should do, so for the time being I won't show that in this video. Next tool along we've got is flex. Obviously we've spoken about flex already, so no need to do that. The next tool is panels by path. Now I absolutely love this feature. This is how we can draw kind of triangle shelves or curved shelves or different shapes within the software. So I'm going to show you that now, but it's a bit of a weird order because I need some free panels in place to show you how to use that, and I haven't shown you free panels yet. So I'm actually going to jump straight to free panels now, and then we can show you the panel by path as well. So let's get rid of this carcass for a moment, and let's grab a free panel. So we come up to our top here, we hit a free panel, and that's going to drop a panel out for us. This is a panel that we can use for anything. We could use it for an end panel, we could use it for a filler, we could use it for a worktop, we could use it for a shelf cap, literally anything that you want to use a panel for. I'm going to grab my flex and I'm just going to resize it roughly here. I'm not going to go too crazy with this, but just showing you that the flex tool works on the free panels as well. So happy with that for the moment. This will then come up down the bottom as well in the panel settings as if it is actually a carcass. So it has its own settings here. You can rename it like you can rename your carcasses as you could do in the previous version. But for the moment I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to duplicate it. So we just use this little duplicate button up here whenever we want to duplicate panels or carcasses or whatever it may be. I'm then going to rotate the duplicated one. I'm then going to move it across and move it forward so it snaps in. I'm actually going to do it there so that we know that these two openings are even, and then if I was building this as a carcass I'd just get my flex and I'd extend it back like that. So if this was a corner unit that we were doing, this is where we would use the panel by path. So grab your path panel, head down to the bottom, and you just join the dots. So I'm going to join up these three sections like this. As soon as I've dropped it, you will see the panel drops in. You can ignore the square as soon as you press that. That's just because it's highlighting an entire panel. And there you go. So it has now drawn in a triangle shelf for us. You can click this, you'll open the settings automatically, and you'll see it's got edit edge curves. If you click that, it's going to put a couple of dots on here, and then you can stretch these out and make these curved, and it'll automatically lock into a perfect semicircle as well. So there you go, really nice and simple. Nice easy way of making a triangle shelf or a curved shelf. And you could also use this for, you know, different patterns as well. I saw somebody the other day, they had a carcass that was a bit of an unusual shape, and they just used this to get that unusual shape. So now let's talk about the targeted divide, because that's the next tool along, and it goes hand in hand with these shelves that I've just put in. So let's say this was a shelving unit and we wanted some even shelves, these circle ones, okay? So if I duplicate this one, and I'm going to pop it back in place here and drag it up the top. Just going to have a little zoom in, make sure it's in the right place. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So this would be the top and base, and then let's say I wanted 4 even shelves in between these. This is where we use target divide. So we hit target divide, we hit our first top or base or whatever we want to use, and then we click our second one, and straight away we're going to get this pop-up come up which asks for the number of copies. Now we wanted 4 shelves, so we're going to say 4, we're going to hit insert. Lo and behold, it's going to put 4 shelves in there, and they're going to be bang on evenly spaced. Okay, so nice and simple. You can also do this with like carcasses. If you had a carcass here and a carcass here and you wanted even ones in between, you can also do that. You can do it with anything basically, but for this example I was just showing you with tops and bases because I feel like that's going to be the most widely used sort of scenario for this. So I just wanted to show you it like that. You will then notice they all come up down the side, and again you can click in here and change them, shelf 1, shelf 2, whatever you want to, and then that's how they'll come through to the cutting list and DXF file if you're using cutting list and DXFs. Okay, next then, let me get rid of these. Next I'm going to talk about the border tool. So I'll leave this free panel in here, and let's say this was an M panel. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, that's fine. And we wanted a kind of shaker detail on it. So we will use the border tool. So we hit the border tool and we hit the panel we want to add the border to. It's going to tell us, a little pop-up's going to come up and say how wide do you want the border. I'm going to say 75mm and add it. So that's going to add a 75mm border here. We then get the border flex. So essentially it's the same as the flex tool, but it's for the borders. Get the border flex, hit the panel. You're now going to see this gizmo come up. Okay, so slightly different. So from here you can click in, change the border size. You can grab this one here and push it back and forth like so. Your little measure type up here comes up, so when you start pushing back, if you just type 9 and enter, that's going to have pushed that center panel back by 9mm. And then we've also got this blue one at the top which will bring the rest of it forward. So if you wanted to do carcasses like that, you could. I don't advise that you do it like that, but if that's what you want to do, you can do it. So there we go. You can also push all the way through if you needed to make a frame or something like that. And then the great thing is you can resize the border nice and quickly. The other thing that I really like about this, and other softwares don't do borders and offsets like this, and if you use other softwares you're going to know what I'm talking about. If we've set this border to 75mm and then we say we want to adjust the size of the panel, if we think, oh shit, actually it needed to be a bit wider, if you grab the flex tool and make it wider, it will keep the 75mm border all the way around. A lot of other softwares, you have to extend the panel this way and then you have to come in and push the border that way as well, the same distance. Whereas with my software, you can just resize this and it'll keep the border as is. So this is great for like shaker end panels on an island or on a wardrobe or anything. This is great for things like that, or if you're making some shaker drawer fronts, you can just use a free panel and a border tool, and that's how you can do that. Okay, cool. So let's now move on then. I'm going to drop a carcass in here and I'm going to show you the fillers and the end panels. So for now, I'm just going to hide that wall in our 3D visibility up here. So let's say that we wanted to add a filler to the side of this carcass. Now yes, we can come up and we can grab a free panel. We could get our join by corner, grab that back corner there, pop it onto here. We could then get our flex and make that the right size there. We could then also flex it down, and then we could say we want it to go up 100mm, and we also want it to go down 100mm. And there we go, we've got a filler, and we can type filler up here, and that's fine. That's great, that works. However, it's pretty time consuming, isn't it? So if we delete that and we grab our filler button, now if we touch the side of the carcass we want a filler on, it's going to drop in this this filler panel, which is something that we can straight away work from. Okay, we can then grab our flex, extend it out to where we want it, so I might extend it out another 25 mil, and then we can just flex it up 100 mil and flex it down 100 mil. Done. And if you had your wall in there and your snap lines, you'll automatically snap it up anyway, and then that's done. It's already called a filler, so that's nice. You could duplicate that, and then on the duplicated one you could just drag that over. Okay, done. You can grab your filler button, hit the top of the carcass, and you'll notice it's put a filler in here straight away. And the great thing about this is, because we've already got the side fillers set, grab your flex tool, push it up, it's just going to snap in. All right, nice. You could duplicate that top filler, drag it down and reposition it at the bottom, or you can just grab your filler button again, click the bottom, grab your flex tool, snap it down, done. If you wanted to set that back, just push it back with your move, done. So a really fast way of adding fillers in there. So now let's talk about end panels. So I will delete this filler. Again, end panels, yes, you could grab a free panel, you could do it however you want, like that, or you could just grab the end panel button, hit the side of the unit where you want an end panel. That's now put an end panel. If we zoom in, you can see it. Highlight it, grab my flex tool, extend it up to that filler, extend it down to that filler, and extend it out if you wish. I will just extend it forward to the filler. Now we've got an end panel. End panel is there. End panel is a free panel, but it's just one that I've self-programmed. But you can still grab your border tool, you can still put a border on your end panel, still works in exactly the same way. Still get your border flex, extend this down if you were running a cornice, extend it up if you were running a skirting, push this back, say 9 mil. Now you've got a shaker end panel really quickly. You could delete, let me get rid of border flex a minute. We could delete this filler, and on the end panel we could just duplicate it, bring it across here, rotate it 180, and move it in. Now we've got on both sides. Okay, so really fast ways there of adding fillers and end panels. Let's move along the toolbar then. I don't want to take up too much of your time today with this. So evenly distribute, we'd already mentioned that earlier. We've shown you how to use that. Now let's look at doors. So we can globally still add doors in the back end, so you can come in and enable doors, and if you've got multiple carcasses you can just add doors to the carcasses like that. That's not a problem. Or we now also have a door button where if you had, you know, let's say we had some different carcasses in here, might have a little low level one, we might not want to add doors to this low level unit. However, when you do global doors and you enable them, automatically they will all come on and you have to go in and turn the ones off that you don't want. But now we have a door button, so we can just come in, click the carcass that we want the doors on, and that's done. It's a lot faster than going into the global settings. The whole idea of the update is to further speed up the process. So we just click the door button, click the carcasses we want the doors on, and we're away. And that's the same for handles now as well. So if you remember, if we had doors on this unit here, say, and we go to accessories and added the handles, you'll remember in the previous version, when you lift the handles from the bottom, if you had a unit like this, there was an error here, because if you wanted the door handles this high, these ones would raise up as well, and there was no way of solving that, so it wasn't very good. Now we've got a handle button. You just touch the door that you actually want the handle on, and you position each handle like separately. So we could get this one, and we can move it across and position it wherever we want to on this door, and put it up and down wherever we want. But then if we put a handle on this one, We can then have that set to wherever we want. We could have that as a knob instead of a T-bar, and just position that. So you can have handles wherever you like. The other really nice thing about the handles as well is they've got this central button as well. So if you were doing drawer fronts, for argument's sake, and you wanted them centralized, then you can just hit that center button and that's going to put them in the center of the panel. Okay, so handles are now really nice. Let's just sort of go a little bit further with that drawer one. So if I put a drawer unit in here, say, and we want to get a handle and pop it on here, and we want it to be a knob. Let's centralize it so it's in the center, but then you could also move it across. You can type these measures in here, say -300. Okay, that's nice. We could then drop another one, put a knob in here and just put this to normal 300, and then we've got that evenly spaced handles, the same distance in, but we've done it in a real fast fashion. Okay, so we don't have to try and mess around dividing stuff out and getting the handle centralized. We can just do that at a touch of a button. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff a minute, then just going to get rid of the handles, and I'm also going to get rid of these units, and then we're going to move on and take a look at cornice and skirting, I think. Just quickly before we do that, we do have a remove door tool up here as well, which I should have mentioned when we were looking at the doors. You can click that and remove any doors that you've added sort of freehand. Just to show you that quickly. Sorry, I did miss that at the time. I'll just put the doors back on for now though. So let's take a look at the cornice. So this is kind of like the panel by path, where we just draw out where we want it. So no more global settings and trying to guess where the cornice goes. Again, with this, please bear with it because it is beta, so the snaps are a little bit quirky with this. So with the cornice, I try not to put it right at the top. It actually snaps a little bit nicer if you come down a little bit, and you can move it after it's set anyway. So hold down shift, that will lock the axis, and we can just click across there. As soon as you've mapped your path out, hit enter, and there we go. That's our cornice set. You can then highlight the cornice and you'll see it's got its own gizmo. So we can move that up like I was saying, and we'll be able to put that where we want to. So the snaps, you just need to do them somewhere on the project, then you can move the cornice around to wherever you want it. And that's exactly the same for the skirting button as well. I won't go into that on this one, but again, you just map your path out and then that will put your skirting wherever you want it. We've then got erase moldings and clear cornice, or if you had a skirting, you'll have a clear skirting button as well. So the erase molding, you can go in separately, touch the molding you want to remove, whether it be cornice or skirting, and you can do them individually. Or if you just clear the cornice button, that will clear any cornice in the drawing. So if you've got them on multiple units, it's going to clear the lot. If you only wanted to clear one unit's worth, then you would just use the individual button instead. Okay, next we'll take a quick look at the hide button. Pretty self-explanatory. Click hide, click a panel you want to hide, and it will hide it. This is just if you want to take a look inside something, you know, and you need to hide a door. You can even come in and hide single items as well within the carcass, like so. Maybe you want to take a shot like this when you're doing like dimensions or something like that, or you want to take a little look in here and see something, then we use the hide button. And then we have undo the last hide, so we can click through these and bring them back, or unhide all, and then that will bring back everything that we've hidden. So pretty simple there, but that is the hide button. We're then going to take a quick look at the tape tool, because I've worked really hard on the snaps with this. If you use the previous version, you will know that the tape tool was quite quirky. It was quite difficult for the snaps. It's still, if I'm honest, it still does need a little bit of work, but it does snap a lot more positive to things now. You can see there, you know, it definitely is snapping so much better. If we look at like the inside of that border there, it will snap to that really nicely. And again, you can hold shift and lock the axis on that as well. So the tape tool is a lot better. And then lastly is the select tool. All of these panel info and stuff, that was already all there. But we have the select tool as well. If we hit that, we can literally highlight the whole unit and then that will highlight everything within that, and then we can move it round as one, we can rotate it as one, and basically it just makes things a lot easier. Again, you can see there's been a little bit of movement there. It is a little bit quirky, the select at the moment. I am actively working on it, but the idea is that we can just kind of keep everything in one place if we wanted to move a unit and move it like that. And then just up at the top, we now have a library. If you haven't already seen this, we have a library of parts. A little look here, like we've got an electric fire. So if you were doing a media unit, you could bring this in. That also works with the flex tool as well. You can resize it so that you can show that. There's lots of other stuff in there. There's beds, TVs, going to add like sofas and stuff, just to kind of show your clients, you know, what's going on. I really like this fire because the flames actually move, and if you look at the unit here, like it actually puts like a glow as well, you know, when it's near another unit, which is quite nice. Also helps with the renders, so you don't have to tell it, oh, there's a fireplace in the middle of this unit, because you can just simply go in and you know, it will know there's a fireplace there, and it will make it look realistic. So that's pretty much it for this video. I did say we could take a look at the dims. Obviously the video is extremely long at the moment. We could take a quick look at the dims if you want to. So let's just put in 2 of these carcasses. I won't do anything else with it. I'll just hide the walls. If we hit the dims button, you'll notice it's going to stick it straight into a 2D mode. It'll turn everything white, even if it's coloured. All we need to do now is just touch where we want dims. So this is going to grab the backboard. It's going to put out the 900 and the 2.4. You might want to just do this panel. So you could do a 2.4 like that. This shelf, if you touch that, it's going to tell us from the internal height of that shelf, like so. It will do the same for that rail. However, if you wanted to do this distance here, if you do the target dim, you select one panel, you select the second panel, and it will tell us the dimensions in between. Okay, so again, if I wanted to do this to that rail, something like that, you can do that like that. So very briefly, just on the dims there, just because the video has gone on for quite a while now, really briefly with that, but that is how we do dims as well. But you can look at that in a lot more detail and just have a play around. But hopefully what you will have got from this video is sort of a brief run through of everything inside of Cabs 2.0. There is so much more as well, but this should really get you going with things. This should mean that you can get your designs well on the way. If you do have any questions, head over to Instagram, drop me a DM over there, and I'm always more than happy to help. Other than that, guys, I'm going to leave the video at that, because as I say, it is rather long, and hopefully this has really helped you out, and also hopefully I will see you on the next one.